I stated in my earlier video on the franchise as a whole, I told you I'd be revisiting specific riders. Why not start things off with a controversial rider that is often considered a bad starting point for new fans? Kamen Rider Decade. Now, the first thing anybody will ask, why on earth is it pronounced the way it is? Funny enough, the word they're referencing is in fact decade, as in 10 years, so that's just how they pronounce it. His main powers are using the powers of the previous 9 riders with these cards that he inserts into his Deca Driver, the belt that gives Decade his powers. A belt that sounds suspiciously like the Asian country club guy from King of the Hill.
Feel, Cod, the wonderful thing about karaoke is it's an emotional outlet, but it still allows us to maintain proper distance.
The show also marks the first time in the franchise where they had continued production for a solid 10 years with no hiatus. Tsukasa Kadoya, played by, I'm gonna butcher this name, Masahiro Inoue, is our titular hero. As the story goes, in his childhood, he lost his parents and is left in the care of the family butler. His sister discovers an ability to open portals to other dimensions, and soon after, Tsukasa does as well. In his teens, Tsukasa accepts the role of Grand Leader of the evil organization Die Shocker because he thought it would be fun. Once given his tools of transformation, he set out to subjugate other riders in different alternate reality worlds, and this all happens before the series technically begins. The shock of traveling through the different AR worlds takes its toll and causes him to lose his memories, only retaining his ability to fight, and tell that the new world he found himself in was not his own. He winds up in an AR world where he meets Natsumi Hikari, the girl who will be his traveling companion throughout the series. She confronts him about some pictures he has taken, and then she is flung into a pocket dimension. She eventually discovers the Deca Driver, and then they are reunited, so Tsukasa can start doing what he does. However, the powers of his cards begin to fade because plot. He takes Natsume back to their own world. Then time freezes, and Kamen Rider Kiva in civilian form, also known as Wataru Kurenai, appears to set Tsukasa on his heroic mission. He is tasked with traveling to other worlds to right the wrongs inflicted on his own world by meeting with the other riders and regaining their powers. Now comes the part that everybody loves and praises about this series. Tsukasa and company have to travel through the 9 AR worlds of the previous Heisei riders. In each one, they sort of get thrown into roles that are relevant to each world and rider. First, we visit the world of Kuga. In this AR world, Tsukasa pretends to be a police officer and meets Yusuke Onodera, who is basically the opposite of the original Kuga, Yusuke Godai. He is quite self-confident, gullible, and even childlike. Throughout the series, he's more of a personal assistant to Decade rather than being another rider. He rarely engages in battle as he travels with Decade and company. In AR Kiva Land, humans and monsters coexist. A younger version of Wataru is acting as Kiva and is the king of this world. Tsukasa, as a violinist, has to help him realize this role. Next up is AR Ryuki. Here, Natsume is framed for murder, and it's up to Tsukasa to beat her Phoenix right.
Objection!
Oh yeah, it's at this point that this guy kinda starts getting in the way. Narutaki is this mysterious figure that appears everywhere that Decade and company go. At every turn, he tends to throw monkey wrenches into Decade's plan, as he believes that Decade needs to go bye-bye. He goes so far as to tell other riders that Decade will destroy their world in an effort to turn them against Decade. Anyway, Tsukasa, along with this world's version of Kamen Rider Ryuki, work together to solve the case and find the actual murderer. Now we learn how this world handles court cases. Yep, that's right. They fight over the trial, and the winner decides your fate. Justice! Finally, the real murderer is revealed, but escapes with our dear old friend Narutaki. They head off to the world of Blade. In this world, Tsukasa is a waiter. the riders of this world treat their powers like a salesman position, with each enemy defeated treated like a commission. This also marks the first time we see the mysterious Daiki Kaito, a man who has a weird obsession with sea cucumbers. Some shenaniganery happens. This world's blade opens a restaurant. Next, AR Fives. In this world, Tsukasa becomes a high school student at Smart Brain High School. I know Smart Brain was the corporation in the original series that developed the Rider gear and was the bad guy group, but who wouldn't want to go to a school called Smart Brain? Here, a new Kamen Rider enters the fray, Kamen Rider Decade. I love this suit, but you know that helmet is impossible to see through.
Take over.
As with everybody else in this series, Decade is both a good guy and a bad, depending on what the episode calls for this week. He is a thief and tries to steal important rider gadgets and doodads, which he calls treasures.
They're my treasures! No, they're my
You're
treasures!
a hoarder! But he also helps Decade Company. And attacks Decade Company. And helps him. And keeps propositioning Tsukasa with his sea cucumber. His powers come from his DN driver, this nifty gun that is powered by rider cards. Unlike Decade though, he himself doesn't change into the riders, but manifests them to come to his aid. Then he usually nopes out of the fight, leaving his summons to do his dirty work. In AR Akito World, Tsukasa plays Mailman, while everybody else cosplays as Kamen Rider G3X. Even this world's Agito has a turn with the G3 suit, though this guy really can't make up his mind which rider he wants to be. And now, Den-O. Not AR Den-O, but the real one. Taking place in an episode arc, a movie, and later a post-series movie which is part of the new Den-O trilogy. Everything that takes place within these particular episodes and movie are too much to cover in this video. Just know that lots of tomfoolery happens, and it's wonderful. And anytime this Peach is on screen, it's always a treat. In AR Kabuto, everybody pretends to be the Flash. Finally, Tsukasa enters the 9th AR world, the alternate world of Kamen Rider Hibiki. Rather than being a dumpster fire of a production nightmare Disney movie, this world tasks humans to train to become Oni within one of 3 rival schools. Funny enough, this is one of few worlds where almost all the original cast returns, like Kiva and Den-O before it, despite all the hiccups the original series faced. However, this does not include Hibiki himself, or Asumu, Hibiki's apprentice. They were recast. The best part about this particular world, the concert at the end. Despite the bad CGI.
So here's this giant enemy crab, and you attack its weak point for massive damage.
So you might be wondering, we've been to the 9 worlds, so what happens next? Well, now it's time for Decade to gain his mid-season power-up. This is the K-Touch. This thing looks like a tricked-out cell phone and gives Decade the ability to do that card trick where you lick the back of the card and stick it to your forehead. Times a billion! From here on, we'll meet Happy Narutoki, Shikinger, the basis for Power Rangers Samurai. We get to see what happens if a monster uses the DN driver. Then we get to see older Rider series represented, such as the original Black and Black RX Riders actor, covering both Riders' worlds back to back. A very wrong Amazon. And finally, we have the world of Decade. Here, he's reunited with his sister, has to fight that pesky Die Shocker we mentioned earlier, and gets to have an all-out war, teaming up with all the current riders at the time. Even a guest appearance by Double, the next Kamen Rider in line after Decade. Though this marks the end of the series, Kamen Rider Decade would go on to be heavily featured in a few movies, both as a pro and antagonist. And both he and DN play a pivotal role in the current running series, both gaining new versions of their drivers, which I need to add to my collection. Thank you so much for watching. I'm just a passing through potato who loves Kamen Rider. I hope this video has been entertaining and informative for you. If so, I would love it if you left me a like and a comment. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'll see you next Friday with another new video. And remember, potato roots are poisonous. Don't eat them.